Another beautiful day in Philadelphia. I'm off work today. We're going to take the Scrambler out for a good time. It rained all last night, so it's surprisingly beautiful this morning. It's finally cool. And summer has been hot in Philadelphia, so any chance I get to ride with the temperature down below 90 degrees, I'm going to take full advantage of it. So I'm going to go grab some breakfast at Reading Terminal Market, one of my favorite places in the city. And then we're going to head out to the countryside and burn some gas. I love my solo rides. Today's going to be a good day. SV650. A lot of stuff going on in the city today. I swear there's construction everywhere today. I guess that's just summer. Summer up north. Gotta get it done. Gotta get it in. Today we're going to talk about my Scrambler. Never really done a full review on this bike, and I've had it now for about 3,000 miles, 6 months in time. I've done a little bit of everything, did some longer rides, took it to New York and back. I've done plenty of city rides. That's the bulk of my experience. Lots of sporty, just blast around town stuff. And I just I have very little negative to say about this bike. I absolutely love the thing. So standing at 6 foot tall, I think about the shortest rider that could be comfortable on this bike because it sits with a seat height of about 33.5 inches. I have the XC model, which is slightly shorter than the XE model. I personally went for the XC because I wanted it to be more of a street bike. I didn't feel the need to have that extra suspension travel. I have plenty of suspension at I think it's something like 8 inches front and back. The XE, I believe, has something closer to 10 or 11 inches in the front. I believe the back is the same on both bikes. And I would say that the suspension is one of my favorite things about this bike. I absolutely would give it 5 stars. It's a fully adjustable suspension. I haven't messed with it. Personally, I like it in the stock settings. I think that I'll play with it a little more when I start to put my rig on here, if I'm going to go camping or if I want to really load it up. Or say I was going to do a longer ride with the passenger, which I probably just won't ever do because that's not very comfortable for the passenger. But it's nice that I have the option if I ever want it. I'm about 150 pounds soaking wet, so I think the stock setup is perfectly adequate for me. If you're a heavier rider, which most 6 foot tall people would be, just because I'm a pretty skinny person, you might want to tweak it a little bit, especially if you're riding on a sportier level. I don't really push the bike too hard. I have some fun. I have some fun moments, but overall, I kind of have this mentality of ride like I want to ride again tomorrow, so I'm never really pushing my luck too much. But in a straight line, I love to see what this 1200cc parallel twin is all about. And I'll tell you, she rips. She rips hard. It's not the inline 4-cylinder sports bike kind of rev range, but it's a torque monster. And a nice balanced torque at that. It's a very even-keeled 89 horsepower, 80 foot-pounds of torque. It's a good mix. For me, and my skill range for how I like to ride, especially that I'm mostly riding in these lower speeds, it's perfect. If you're a taller person living in more of a metro area, this bike really can do a lot for you. And it's also, of course, off-road capable to an extent, but I'll tell you that 500 pounds in the dirt, it's a lot. Oh man, the road is closed to get to the market. I've heard the market's going to be under construction. They're gonna do a bunch of nice things to this market. It's such a gem in Philadelphia, but it's old, so I think that it's getting a facelift. I read a little article about it. They're going to include a bunch more outdoor seating, which would be lovely because it's mostly an indoor situation. And you know, when a beautiful day, people in Philadelphia, they want to be outside. I don't blame them. So I come here mostly for the spring rolls and the donuts. I have a variety of different reasons I come here. I love getting my produce here. I love hitting the meat markets. But when I'm just coming to grab a bite, spring rolls and donuts is a breakfast of champions. I guess we're going to take the roundabout way today. What's up, Center City? So yeah, I would also give this engine a 5-star review. There's only one thing, and it's not even like something I could knock a star off for. It's just so hot. Being a parallel twin, it's pretty wide. And just probably naturally the way the Bonneville engine is designed, it puts off a lot of heat. Also, in these like more stop and go situations, my radiator fan kicks on so quickly, and it blows all that heat right back at your knees. And because you're kind of like, you know, wrapped around the tank, you can't avoid it. But other than that, other than the engine heat, this engine is so refined and so smooth. And minus the fact that I got this gurgly ass exhaust, it's just got a really nice sound to it. I could only imagine what this bike sounds like stock. My girlfriend's Street Twin has a beautiful stock sound, and that's not, you know, very common for a motorcycle to have nice exhaust coming out of the factory. Although I'll say I won't complain too much about this exhaust, other than that it's just at 6:45 in the morning when I'm going to leave for work and I have to take the Scrambler. I feel pretty guilty. I feel guilty because I know I'm waking up my neighbors. There's no way they don't hear that. Our houses are so close together.
Good morning, YouTube. It's Sunday, 6:45 a.m., and this is about the only thing I don't like about my Scrambler. You know, all my neighbors are sleeping, it's Sunday, and then I do this. Good morning, Philadelphia.
All right, let's get the back way into Reading Terminal. I'm getting hungry. It's Monday fun day for me. So yeah, I absolutely love the suspension. I love the engine. So my only real dislikes are probably 3 minor things. We'll say 2 minor things and one, we'll say it needs to be replaced thing. My front tire, we'll start with that. That needs to be replaced. The stock front tire, Metzler Turrence, probably like an 80/20 style off-road tire. It tracks. It tracks so bad. If I see something coming in the road, like a line, and I hit it, my bike just wants to shift and take that line. And I do not like that. So I intend to look into better options for that. I'm going to go more street tread on this bike. I've decided that it's just not my kind of bike for the dirt. Mostly just because of its weight. It's a lot to handle. And I mostly ride street. If I want to get on a fire road or a hard-packed trail, I think a street tire will be just fine. All right, the 2 light quirks. I do not love the keyless ignition. Mostly, I don't have any issues with it. It almost always senses that my key fob is near, and you know the technology is nice, but I just don't like the idea that I could lose it. That scares me. I don't want to lose my key when I'm out doing something and then be stranded. I kind of love the idea of just having a physical key that lives in the bike. And the other slight quirk would be squeaky brakes. I don't love that my bike came from the factory with squeaky brakes. These Triumphs, they're known for having great build quality, but for whatever the reason, I'm feeling like they missed a little bit on the brakes. Is there anywhere I can park today? Everything is so shut down. Let's see, I probably can find some parking right up here. Here we go. Oh, no stopping. No stopping. It's a hazy day in Philly today. Gotta love tunnels. It's just so hard to resist. How do you resist doing that? Honestly, there's not much I would do to this bike besides change that front tire. I absolutely love this bike. I know a little trick. This alley is a secret. You can park in here, the PPA never comes. It might feel sketchy to an outsider, but to somebody who lives in Philly, they know. It's a if you know kind of situation. That's some pretty cool sculpture. I love that. All right, let's go get some donuts. So let's talk about some of these upgrades I've done, slash have been done for me. So the previous owner installed these awesome little LED turn signals. Kind of takes away the big bulk of having the turn signals here. The previous owner also put on this aftermarket exhaust. This beautiful Zard Italian exhaust. It's just something. It's a few pounds lighter, that's one perk. It's also, of course, gonna have some performance gains. And it's obnoxious. There's times when I love it and there's times when I hate it. But overall, it makes the bike. Some things I've done, I put on the Bark Busters. Feel like it really pulls together the bike. I mean, it's an adventure bike, right? So it fits. I put on this awesome windscreen. And I put on this Give You rack. Got the top box on today because we're going to take a little trip outside of the city. The previous owner also put on this little pad. I personally love it. I also love that it's brown and it matches the seat because, you know, accessorizing is a thing. I put on these grip puppies because I love having a big, thick grip to hold on to. That's just a personal preference. And I put on these tank pads, mostly for performance because I love wrapping my knees. I love squeezing the tank. It just gives me that extra stability. But they also look pretty sweet. I went with the Motone pads, mostly because I like the British flag. The ones that come with the Scrambler, or like the ones that are an accessory OEM style for the Scrambler, I wasn't as fond of. So I went with these Motones and I'm very pleased with them. They fit the tank great. I love this back tire. I think it's a perfect tire. It's a radial tire and the front tire is bias ply. So in theory, I feel like I could just get a different front tire and it wouldn't affect the bike, considering it was designed with a radial rear and a bias ply front. So I'm thinking something with more street tread, won't track as much, won't lose pressure, because those are two issues I'm having with it. The brakes are amazing. They stop so well. I just wish they didn't squeak. I'm going to fix that eventually. I keep complaining about it, not doing anything about it, but I am going to eventually get some grease on those guys. And that should do it. Overall, 5-star motorcycle. It's a pretty penny. I got it used, so I paid a little bit less, but it starts around $15,500. It's an investment. You got to be, really passionate about what you're doing. But in my case, I live and breathe motorcycles, so I would say that this bike suits me, and it's going to give me years of joy if I take care of it right, which I intend to do. So yeah, without further ado, let's get back on this guy and get out of town. Peace out, Reading Terminal. Thank you for the breakfast. Alright, the streets are drying up. Just in time to jump on the freeway and get out of here. Alright, Philly, see you later. This is my favorite thing about this bike. Pole shots. It just rips. It loves to rip. Might not be the best in the corners, but man, in a straight line, this bike lets you go. I just can't get enough of it. Alright, YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do the rest of this one for myself. See you guys later.